Stop using Notion Gallery View like this. Gallery View is a great way to display database information in a visual way, but it can be difficult to understand what the information means. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a really simple Notion Gallery Summary view like this, using basic Notion formulas. If you want to follow along, I'll drop a link to the shared Notion page into the description below. No email required. You can just go and copy and paste these to try them out in your own workspace. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Andy, a Notion ambassador and consultant. I help small business owners to be more efficient using tools like Notion. If that sounds like something useful, please do consider subscribing to my channel so that you don't miss out on any future videos. But other than that, let's get into it. First, let's add a label to one of our pieces of data. So keep it really simple. And you can see that in the formula, we go and add just a bit of text at the start, and that's in quotation marks, just to let Notion know that that is some text. And then we say, what is the property that we want to label afterwards? In our database here, we can see that we've got owner, but this isn't clear when we look in database view. So let's imagine that we want to go and add a label of owner at the start. So we can't do that in here. We're going to add a new property. So I'm going to click on this one, and it's going to be a formula. So type formula, select that one. This is going to be our owner, and let's just put a label so that we know that that's what it's going to be. And then we click on edit formula. And the first thing we need to put in is what is our label going to be. So as I said, we put quotation marks, and let's just type owner. And then we're going to put a colon. So we'll put that, and then space. So we want to have a bit of room in between the label and the actual data. And then we just go and close the quotation marks. So that's literally just the label. If I press save, just to show you, here it's now just got the text, but that's not very useful. So if I go and edit property again, edit the formula, we then want to go and add our piece of data. So we need to go and press space and then plus and then space again. And then let's just go and select which property. So you can see that they're all listed here, all of our properties in this database. So we want the owner one. So I can just go and start to type owner, and it will filter them. And we want this one. So I'm just going to click on owner, and you can see that it's sort of in this grey background. So that's one of the properties. And then when we're happy, we just go and press save. And you can now see that we've got owner, space, and then we've got the property as well. And if I was to go and change the actual property here, so let's take Samantha out, and we'll go and add in, say, Charlie. It's then automatically updated because it's got that specific, is related to that property. So I'm going to put it back to Samantha. There we go. Next up is we want to go and format our text, and we can do this. We can do colors, we can do bold, italics, we can add a colored background just to add a little bit more clarity. Go into the same property, so let's go edit property and then formula again, and at the front we're formatting this owner text, so let's go and make it bold. We want to go and add style, then we select the property, and then we add the specific elements. So just to keep this really simple, firstly, we'll just go and type style and then close the bracket. And what's really useful here in the formula editor is it goes and gives you loads of tips. So here where we've got style, we can see what we need to do. So the first part of the style formatting option is we need to say, well, what are we going to apply this to? So it's the owner part here, which we've got in our quotation marks. So we need to write that and then just press a little comma. Then we need to go and put a closed bracket, and this is where we select, well, what formatting are we going to apply, and it gives you loads of options. So for bold, we just need to put a B in quotation marks. We've got an underline, italics, strike through, etc. And here you can just have a bit of a play, and we just need to make sure that we put a comma in between each of them. So let's say that for owner, we wanted to just make this bold. So we've put our quotation mark, B, close the quotation marks, and that's it. And if we now just go and press save, you can see that it's now changed owner, and that's in the bolder text. Let's also say that we want to go and make it blue rather than black. Press comma to say that we're adding in another property. We've got our quotation marks, and let's just type in blue and then close the quotation marks, press save, and now you can see that the text is blue rather than black. The main thing to remember is that all of the variations that you can do are all here in sort of the help text and how to do it. Next up on our list is we want to go and add a number to a date. This template that I'm showing you, this is my SOP manager, and if you want to go and grab the download, I'll drop the link into the description below. You'll see here that we've got the last updated date for this standard operating procedure. So it was the 1st of January, so New Year's Day this year, and we want to go and update this on a regular basis. And that's what this number is here. So how often do we want to update it? So let's say that I was going to update it every 90 days. You can see here that the next update date has put it automatically at the 1st of April. And again, this is using a really simple formula. If we click on add a property, and this is again going to be a formula, and then we'll click this. And then in Notion, to access certain functions that we do to these properties is we press the dot, and now you can see that we've got lots of different options and things that we can do listed underneath. So we can add dates, we can subtract, we can format them, all sorts of things. So in this case, all we want to do is to go and add to the date. So I'm just going to press date add. So we've got this property which is a date, and then we want to go and add to this date, and we want to add the number of days that we have in a different property. So in here, if I go back, we can see that we've got date add. Then what we need to go and do is go and select the property that contains the number of days that we're adding. So in here, we want to go in our date add, we want to go and find that property. And the property is update frequency and number of days. So I'm just going to click on this one. And again, there are loads of tooltips here in Notion. Date add, the first thing is what are you adding? So for us, it's based on this property, so the number of days. And the second thing is we need to go and say, well, what does that number mean? So for us, it's not months or years, it's days. So press a comma, and then I'm going to again put in quotation marks days, and then just close it. Okay. So just to recap what this formula means, so we want to take a date, which is our last updated date. We want to add to it. We're going to add a certain number, which is this second property, the update frequency. And then what does that number mean? Well, it's days. It's not months or years or anything else. So once we've done that, we just go and press save, and you'll see that we've now got the 1st of April 2025. So that's 90 days after the 1st of January. Next up, we want to go and add two different pieces of information together in a long line. Let's just type formula, and this is going to be our update labeled. Great. Let's edit the formula. So first we want to add a label to our dates that we've just found. So let's call this update due by, and then space, and then add a colon and close. So that's literally our text. Then we need to go and add the date that we've just gone and automatically created, which is our next update date. And if I just go and save that, we can see that we've got update is due by, and then we've got the date. But then we also want to put the person. So we're going to string these two different things together. So let's just press plus again. We want to add another word. So let's say by, and space, and then a colon. So this is going to be who's doing this. And then we're going to close the quotation marks, and I can add another space here at the front, and you can see the formatting here underneath updating. So we've got the update is due by the 1st of April, and it's going to be by. Then we want to go and say who is this and what is their role. So we can scroll down and find the owner labeled, add that in, and we've now got by the owner, who's Samantha Brown. So we've added multiple strings and other properties that we've created earlier into one long line to create our much clearer text. And if I just go and save that, so we can see the update is due by the 1st of April by the owner Samantha Brown. And you can see how much clearer this is compared to just random dates and names that we saw earlier. Finally, this is quite a long line, and it probably wouldn't appear great in gallery view. So now let's just go and add a line break so that this appears on two different lines. And to do that, we'll go back into here and edit the property and edit the formula. And what we want to do is if you actually press on your keyboard Shift and then return, it adds a line. And so I'm going to press return again. Now this isn't adding a line break in the actual text. So if I go and save this, it still looks the same. But what it means is it's easier for you to read in your formula editor. So that's just a little tip in terms of making things a little bit more legible. And what we need to do is actually add something called a line break. If I go into our Notion formulas, and you'll see that it's here, we put in the backslash and then an N, and that's a line break. And again, it needs to have the pluses because we're putting this in between other strings. So really simply, we're just going to put in here, I've got too many pluses. So we've got our text, we've got the property, we've then put in this line break here, and then we've got more text and our second property. And if I just click on save, you'll see that it's now put it on an additional line, so it's dropped it down underneath. So let's tidy this up slightly more. So again, edit formula. I want to take out that space, and we could go and add this in again. So I'm just going to go and paste this on my keyboard, but we've got too many pluses. So let's take out this one. So it's a new line and a new line, and then it's the text, and click on save. Great, and you can see that we've now got our first property, space, and then we've got the second one underneath. Now let's go and put that into gallery view really quickly. So if I just come out of all of these properties, let's go back to the dashboard that we had earlier. Great, and we've got our department, and all we do is select here the properties that we want. So under properties, if I take out the two previous ones that I had, here we've got our update labeled to. We can go click on that and it's appeared here. So we've got update due by the date, by the owner, Samantha Brown. It's just so much clearer and easier to read compared to what we had before, which was just a load of dates and names. If you've got any questions, then do go and drop them down into the comments below and I'll go and help out as best I can. For more videos like this, please do make sure you go and subscribe to the channel. It really helps, and I don't want you to miss out on any future videos. And to find out more about Notion and how to use it, check out this playlist here where I go into loads more basic ways to use this fantastic tool. But other than that, thanks so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See ya.